You are in town for the Digital Asset Conference. What brings you to the event and how's it going so far?
Well, thanks for having me. Yeah, we've attended a couple of DASs before. I think this is the first one that we've been to that's in New York. Very excited to have it back in the US. I think last year it was in London. Yeah, we're excited to see the institutional support. I think that's kind of the narrative of what we're seeing the most from this event. And all the institutions are here, they're making announcements, and we're excited to see it.
And we're not even halfway through the event at the time of this interview, but what is the vibe that you're feeling so far? Because we are kind of in this funny place in the market where we have all these regulatory tailwinds, a lot of positive stuff to look forward to. But when you look at the prices, and I know that does not matter depending on who you ask, but we are in kind of an awkward place where it's headwinds versus macro tailwinds. What's the vibe like from what you can see?
Yeah, I think the best description that we've come up with is it's kind of a tale of two cities going on right now. You've got all the positive movements on the regulatory and policy front. I think some of the regulators are announcing even today, the dropping of previous cases or dismissing of cases. You've got the policies front really moving forward. There's the Genius Act, which is working its way through the Senate right now, which is the Stablecoin market structure bill. And yeah, the market itself seems to be in a different place. Positive sentiment on everything that I consider to be substantive, but it's tough to see the markets this way. And if it was any other market, I think it would be positive reactions with all the stuff going on underneath.
Let me double click on the Genius Act because I think we're both really into stablecoins right now. What do you make of kind of the state of that legislation right now? I've been talking to a lot of people about it, and there are some parties that have their criticisms of it. And I think we're also in this place where we're so new still in this new regulatory environment that for many people, it's like, let's just get something passed and we can deal with it later. Anything we get passed is positive for the space. What are your feelings toward the legislation?
Yes, there's a couple of thoughts there. I think broadly speaking, what the industry is looking for is market structure. Being able to have, whether it's market structure for the stablecoins, which is the Genius Act, or hopefully something that's upcoming, which would be market structure for basically all other assets within crypto. But what the Genius Act I think is great is providing kind of I would say a middle of the fairway approach to how it does regulation. It provides a framework for how you can be a US issuer or interact with US issued stablecoins. But it also doesn't, it basically says if you're not based in the US, there's other frameworks that exist. There's MiCA in the EU and potentially others that come up eventually. And it isn't going to say everybody else has to abide by our rules as well. And I think that this is the benefit of the way that it's structured to say, if we recognize those other frameworks that exist in other jurisdictions, we're going to be able to also interact with those stablecoins as well. The truth of the matter is most of the issuers of stablecoins actually exist outside the US. There's about 220 billion of stablecoins. Tether is about 160. USDS, which is made by Maker, is about 8 or 9 billion. USDC is made by Circle, which is based in the US. And really what we want ultimately is there to be a competitive landscape for all the different issuers and potentially new issuers that come up as well. And so we want there to be a competitive landscape and we want it to be open, but we also want to know what the rules are. And so that's why we're excited.
What's your feeling about timeline? I feel like we're in this funny place where we're coming down from the post-election high and the post-inauguration high. We saw the SEC kind of drop a lot of the investigations and now lawsuits. We've had just announcement after announcement after announcement, and now we're just kind of settling. And it feels like we've lost some of that feeling of euphoria.
Yep.
But what, I guess, is your feeling about timeline for stablecoin legislation actually getting passed in a way that is meaningful and allows companies to actually do something beyond wait around?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think crypto, especially people in crypto, because it's 24/7 markets, timelines are not necessarily the best understood or recognized. And everybody wants everything immediately. And I think generally what we are expecting is that in the next few months, we'll probably have the final draft. It's been through committee within the Senate, has to get voted on in the Senate, it has to get voted on in the House, and then signed by the president. The expectations are that this will be a standalone bill. It probably won't get put into another, reconciliation or some other type of bill. The hope is that we can have this bill solidified by the middle of the year. So probably a few months away. But then we're also looking forward to, like I mentioned, the market structure bill, which is for every other asset. What's a commodity? What's a security? Who's the regulator in charge? How does something become sufficiently decentralized? A lot of I think the basic building blocks of what FIT from last year I think will get put into the market structure bill that we would hope to come through maybe in the second half of this year. And so that'll be the next, kind of thing that we're looking forward to and working towards. Once we have all of those things in place, I think that's where the industry can kind of say, okay, now we have the rules of the road. It's time for us to go off and operate. And I think that's kind of where we'll probably see the most positive signals. I mean, these are the most seminal pieces of legislation for this industry ever. And yeah, there'll be big moments.
So fast forward a little bit, say we get that legislation and everyone is ready to run. What does the outlook of the stablecoin landscape look like to you at that point? Like you said, a lot of stablecoin issuers are offshore. And then even here, we have so many people hinting or outright saying that they're going to get into the stablecoin game, be it Stripe and everything up to Bank of America. Right. So what does that do for the landscape?
Yeah, well, so Stripe bought Bridge last year. I think that was kind of a recognition. It was $1 billion acquisition. I think it was recognition of them seeing this as a strategic opportunity for them to get into the stablecoin business this year. I think the more regulated institutions, Stripe's not a publicly traded company yet, more regulated institutions like Bank of America, they need to know what these rules are for them to operate. And so I think that's the gating item for them to launch, Bank of America coin or maybe JP Morgan coin. I think those will probably happen pretty quickly once there's clarity. And from there, I think, we're probably going to see more companies make announcements that you wouldn't necessarily see. I think when we think about stablecoins as a new business model, you can take a lot of the financial service infrastructure or companies that are building financial services, replace them with stablecoins and kind of do it in a better way. And we're starting to see insurance companies, payroll companies, all types of kind of fintechs are looking at stablecoins as a strategic imperative, not just kind of a new interesting technology to play around with. It's going to be core to a lot of what these companies are doing.
Well, I know this conversation has largely been focused on stables, but what are you looking at when you're looking at your next investment or the next project that you want to put some money behind? What is interesting and important to you right now?
Well, stablecoins is a huge focus of ours, not just in the issuers themselves, but the infrastructure providers, the blockchains that they run on. We're also looking at a number of companies, like I mentioned, fintech-style businesses that are looking at stablecoins as an advantage in competition with incumbents. The other stuff that we are really excited about is energy and being able to build an energy ecosystem. Whether it's on the power generation side, the power storage side, or even the transfer of physical assets related to energy. There's a lot of different angles to it, but energy and stablecoins are primarily our focus right now.